कहाँ आउनु यहाँ आएपछि पुग्नु पर्छ
Getting blinded by a light right there. If you could turn off your light there, that way it won't take away people's night vision. So this bridge in front of us is called the Selena Bridge. It's named after Selena Quintanilla Perez. This bridge was featured in the movie Selena, starring Jennifer Lopez. Legend says that the real Selena actually was proposed to on that bridge. You guys look on the right-hand side. Now that is a beautiful cream-colored building across the street called the Mocara Hotel. It was made in 1901 as the L. Frank Saddlery Company. That was the largest saddle manufacturer in the whole wide world at the time. They manufactured saddles for the Allies during World War I. Look on the left-hand side, folks. That's the Omni La Montion Del Rio Hotel. Now that building on the left exists because way back in 1853, there were 4 brothers from the Society of St. Mary's who came to San Antonio and made St. Mary's Academy. That was an all-boys school. It later became St. Mary's College of Law. And then in 1968, it was purchased by Patrick Kinsey, a graduate of the law college, who turned it into a hotel called La Posada Motorhome, just in time for the Evans Fair, the largest work fair in history at that time. If you guys look up and to the left, you'll see a giant optical illusion. That's the Nixon Hospital. People say when you look at it from this angle, it looks like a giant optical illusion because it looks like it's completely flat. It looks like the wind is going to blow it over and it's going to fall down on top of us. And I promise it's not going to fall. It's been there since 1930, and it opened its doors as the first full-service medical center in the United States of America. Now, some notable individuals who were born in the Nixon Hospital include the comedian Carol Burnett and Marine Colonel Oliver North. Now, directly in front of us, you guys will see the Hyatt Regency Hotel. Now, this was made in 1981, and it's 16 stories high. It's in front of the most famous war monument in Texas, the Alamo. Now here in Texas, everybody, it's illegal for anything to cast a shadow on the Alamo. So the Hyatt Regency could not be built until after it was subjected to shadow testing. And that's why it's only 16 stories high. If they would have built any higher, then the shadow might have fallen on the Alamo. And we're not going to let that happen in Texas. Now everyone, if you look to the right-hand side, you see the Casino Club building. This beautiful red brick building with the green trim on my right-hand side is called the Casino Club building because in 1927, 2 German immigrant social clubs merged together. One was called the Casino Association. The other was called the San Antonio Social Club. The author, Alex Haley, who wrote the book Roots, actually stated that location. That's where he wrote at least part of his book. On top of that building is a flag of the country of Texas. Not everybody knows this, but Texas, we were a country before we were a state. We were called the Republic of Texas, and we are the only state in the Union where we're allowed to fly our state flag at the same height level as the American flag. We are now passing through Restaurant Row. This is the most densely populated area of restaurants on the Riverwalk. Is anybody on board celebrating a birthday today? Any birthdays? Raise your hand if it's your birthday, folks. All right. Sometimes people ask me what's the best restaurant on the Riverwalk, and I always say all of them as long as you like Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex is kind of a thing here in Texas. We get tourists from all over the world. I'm always a little surprised when they come all the way here to Texas, and then they ask me if I can recommend a good Chinese restaurant for them. Well, we do have Chinese restaurants in Texas, and they're all very good. Just like all these restaurants here on the Riverwalk are all very good. Now everyone looks straight ahead across the street behind the tree on the left-hand side. You guys see that giant red squiggly sculpture? That's the Torch of Friendship, made by Mexican artist Sebastian to commemorate the friendship between Mexico and San Antonio. It was made in 2002. On the right-hand side, you'll see the Clipper building, and there's a statue of Robert Hugman in front of the Clipper building. He put his offices on the Riverwalk level of the Clipper building in 1941 to prove that his flood design system actually worked. But it wasn't until 5 years later, on October 4th, 1946, when the first restaurant opened up on the Riverwalk level. They said, all right, Robert Hugman, we're going to put our faith in you, in your flood design system. We're going to open up our restaurant on the Riverwalk level. If you look to my right-hand side, you'll notice that same restaurant is still here today. That's Casa Rio, the first and the oldest restaurant to open up on the Riverwalk level. Look straight ahead, this beautiful luxury hotel in front of us is called the Hilton Palacio del Rio Hotel. It was made in 1968 for the Hemisphere. People say when you look at it from this angle, it sort of looks like Lego blocks that are stacked on top of each other. Well, that's because that building was made using a construction technique called modular construction. All 496 of those rooms are made one at a time at a location about 8 miles away. Each room was individually carpeted, fully furnished, right down to the Gideon Bible. And then each room was brought here and set in place one at a time by train. And the Hilton Palacio del Rio Hotel is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest hotel built in the shortest amount of time. Only 202 working days. That's less than 8 months. My house actually took longer to build than that. Straight ahead, these two beautiful hotels are front of us. The taller one, the one on the left, the Marriott River Center Hotel. That was made in 1988. Before that building could be set in place, they had quite a challenge because there was already a large vacant hotel at that same location, and that was the Fairmont Hotel, a historic monument that had been there since 1906, so it couldn't be torn down. So we just picked up the Fairmont Hotel, all 1,600 tons of it, and then we moved it 6 blocks away. That is such a Texas thing to do, isn't it, everyone? And the Fairmont Hotel is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest building moved across city streets on pneumatic tires. Everyone look up and to the right, and in between these trees here, you'll see a beautiful observation tower. That's the Tower of America. It was made as a centerpiece for the Hemisphere in 1968. It's modeled after the Space Needle in Seattle. But our tower is taller. Because, you know, we got to do everything bigger in Texas, right? So it's over 750 feet tall, and there are 952 steps going all the way to the top. And every year we have a contest to see who can run to the top of those steps in the shortest amount of time. The record is 5 minutes and 18 seconds. And oh boy, am I never going to do that again. I'm just kidding, folks. That record was actually set by 16-year-old local high school student Tommy Johnson from Roosevelt High School in 1981. Hey folks, you're in luck. You're going to see something very unusual. You guys see these two boats next to each other? So this is a boat transfer that's in process right now. So when the electricity goes out, the batteries are drained, the boat is absolutely helpless. So what happens then is another boat comes out, pulls up next to it, and people disembark from one boat and they get onto the other one. And that's what just happened right there. Now hopefully our boat is not going to conk out on this. We are now moving through the River Center docking station. Now we call this the River Center docking station because it's in front of the River Center shopping mall. Second largest shopping mall in the great big city of San Antonio. This shopping mall was made in 1988 Inside you will find over 100 retail shops, a giant walk-in aquarium called Sea Life, and a giant amusement park called the Legoland Amusement Park. Now before you all get too excited about going to Legoland, I should probably let you guys know. Before anyone can participate in the festivities at the Legoland Amusement Park, all adults must be accompanied by a child. This is a blind intersection, folks. That's why I had to stop the boat. We got mandatory stops for different reasons. It could be because we're at a blind intersection, or it could be because we need to reposition the boat. But all the mandatory stops are opportunities for photo ops. Sometimes people ask me, are there fish in the river? The answer is yes, we do have fish in the river. We got over 70 varieties of wildlife inside this river. We even have the venomous water moccasin snake inside this river. So you probably don't want to do any swimming in this river while you're here. That boat that's passing us on the left is our military boat to commemorate our military heritage. And the boat that you're in is our Peace Laureate boat. This is to commemorate peace. These two boats have a special relationship with each other. A lot of people think that that's ironic. Some people even think it's contradictory, but it isn't. It's summed up very, very well by a quote from General Douglas MacArthur, who said, "The warrior, more than anyone else, prays for peace." And that is true, folks. The Payaya Indians occupied this area of San Antonio for thousands of years. They had a word in their language for the water here, and that was Yanaguana. Now Yanaguana, that's one of those pesky words that does not translate perfectly into English. It sort of means area of peaceful or restful waters. But not peaceful or restful in the same way that we use those words in English. It sort of means an otherworldly type of peace or rest. So I think the Payaya Indians were trying to tell us that this is an area where you can find peace and rest like no other place in the world. San Juan, San Jose, Concepcion, and Escalado. Now this is another one of our Peace Laureate boats, and the boat that's passing us, this is another one of our mission boats. We also have a sun boat that commemorates the 300 days of sunshine that we receive on average here in San Antonio. It doesn't rain very often, but when it does rain, it often rains very hard. As we pass underneath this bridge, everyone keep your hands down. And as we pass underneath all these bridges, keep your hands down. And as we pass underneath this bridge, look to my right-hand side, because you're about to see a beautiful 8.5-foot statue of the Catholic saint that this river was named after. That statue on my right is of San Antonio de Padua. In English, we call him Saint Anthony. Now, Saint Anthony, he was born in Lisbon, Portugal, and that statue is a gift to the city from the country of Portugal for the hemisphere in 1968. Saint Anthony is the Catholic patron saint of lost things, and that's good for us here in Texas, because every year we get about 4 million tourists visiting the Riverwalk, and they keep losing things in our river. You guys look up and to the right, and you will see a very beautiful church steeple. That beautiful church steeple on the right-hand side belongs to a very beautiful church called St. Joseph's Catholic Church. Now that church is still active to this day. If you go to church there this Sunday, you might even hear the all-male choir sing in German to commemorate their heritage. In 1921, there was a major flood in the area, and the Army Corps of Engineers wanted to seal off the Riverwalk and be done with it. The San Antonio Conservation Society stepped in to save the Riverwalk, and in 1929, a giant, those are my fans, everybody, they're on my boat to our ears. So 1929, Robert Hugman submitted a flood control plan that was approved by the city. But 1929, that was the year the stock market crashed, so the city didn't have any funding available. So it wasn't until 12 years later in 1941 when a federal program called Works Project Administration built the Riverwalk at a cost of $430,000, which in today's money would be like $4.3 billion. That's a lot of money. We do have the ability to drain the Riverwalk, so we'll do that every year to clean it out. The last time we drained the Riverwalk to clean it out, we found 355 cell phones. That's not all. We also found 75 electric scooters. And we found $26,000 worth of jewelry, house keys and car keys and prosthetic limbs. Yeah, we found all kinds of crazy stuff in the water. So please keep track of your stuff, everybody. We don't want you to lose anything. We got enough of other people's stuff in our river already. Now at this time, my company would like me to say, on behalf of the city of San Antonio and Go Wheel Cruises, we would like to recognize all first responders, active duty military, and all veterans. If you're a first responder, active duty military, or a veteran, would you please raise your hand high in the air for us? All right, everyone, let's all applaud really, really loud. Thank you for your service. We want you to know we're very proud and very grateful. San Antonio is known as Military City. Our entire 300 years of history, we've always had a military base here. Today, the largest military base in San Antonio is Lackland Air Force Base. If you look to the right-hand side, you'll notice tourists in their natural habitat. Remember I was telling you about that hotel on the left? The Hilton Palacio Del Rio Hotel? It took private contractors less than 8 months to build that big, beautiful luxury hotel. By contrast, that pretty across the street on the right with 1 door and 3 windows, that took government contractors 18 months to build. But you straight ahead, everybody, you'll see La Villita. La Villita is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Texas. It was made in 1722 for the families of soldiers stationed at Mission San Antonio de Valero, which today we call the Alamo. Today, La Villita features several fine restaurants, live music, and on top of that hill, you'll find a local artist market where you can buy one-of-a-kind gifts and jewelry. Take a look at that stage that we're passing on my right-hand side, everyone. Does that stage look familiar to any of you? Look on the right-hand side, folks. That's the Briscoe Western Art Museum. It was made in 2013, named after the late Texas governor and his wife Jenny. From 1930 to 1968, that was the San Antonio Public Library. And from 68 to 2001, that was the Circus Museum. Now take a look at this beautiful iron bridge in front of us, folks. There are only 10 iron bridges made like this one in the whole wide world. All 10 of these bridges are made way off in Berlin. Berlin, Connecticut, there. And this is the lowest bridge we're going to go underneath. So I'll try to position the boat so we go through the middle of these steel rafters here. But I promise you're not going to hit your head. Unless you stand up, of course. Or unless you remain seated and you happen to be 7 feet 2 inches tall. On the right-hand side, you'll see a small heart-shaped island called Marriage Island. Marriage Island has a 250-year-old history. Every year, there's about 300 marriage ceremonies performed on Marriage Island. If you sit on the benches of Marriage Island, you'll be married within the next 5 days. So let's give these folks a hand, shall we? Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. We're happy for you. I wonder if they know what's about to happen to them. We're now passing through Old Mill Crossing. This was a favorite place for the settlers to cross the river during the 1800s because it was very shallow and had a limestone bottom. Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders liked to cross the river here. Pancho Villa, the Mexican revolutionary, liked to cross the river here. If you look to the right-hand side, you'll see a beautiful luxury hotel called the Westin Inn. This was made in 1988. Inside, you'll find the authentic furnishings of a 17th century English castle. Now everybody, if you guys look straight ahead, you guys see this beautiful courthouse in front of us, folks. Along with the tower there. So that's the oldest courthouse in Texas, the Bexar County Courthouse. On the outside, she's made of beautiful red Texas sandstone. And on the inside, she's made of very beautiful Texas limestone. So what do you guys think? Would anyone like to hear the unofficial history of that building on the left? So raise your hand if you want me to share that with you. But you guys remember what happened in 1929, right? That was the year the stock market crashed. So the Smith brothers, they had to buy that building for $3 million. But then when they had to pay their taxes for the county, they didn't have the money to pay their taxes. So it was auctioned off to pay all of the county taxes, and they had to sell it for only $300,000. Now the International Building on the right-hand side, where the trade offices for the United States, Mexico, and Canada are, right? As we pass by the International Building, I'd like you guys to look to the right-hand side. And you'll notice that I can actually drive the boat inside that building there on the right. So that's because that building on the right is one of the two boat docking marinas that we have on the Riverwalk. Yeah. Now everybody please turn around and look behind me. They say if you look at the Tower Life building from this side, it looks like the bow of a giant ghost ship. Anybody see that? Now guess what, folks? That building's empty. And it's been empty for years. You see, the locals here in San Antonio consider that building to be haunted. In fact, ghost hunters come from all over to investigate that location for paranormal activity. Now, everything I told you is true. This next part is legend. So legend says that the ghost hunters have discovered there are a handful of individuals who possess a supernatural ability to be able to hear that ghost ship actually haunt at night, but it only works if we position the boat right about here inside this eerie red glow. You guys believe in ghosts? Let's see what happens. Can you guys see those shiny metal things at the top? So those shiny metal things are padlocks. The locals call this Love Lock Bridge because tourists come here to San Antonio. They propose on Marriage Island, they get married on Marriage Island, and then they bring a padlock and they lock it onto that bridge. Way back in 29, that building there was the first Alamo National Bank. And the original bank vault is still inside. You guys look on the left-hand side, and in the distance you will see the oldest church in Texas. Now, white brick building beyond the trees is called the San Fernando Cathedral. It was made all the way back in 1731 by 16 families from the Canary Islands who were invited here by King Philip V of Spain. And the San Fernando Cathedral is also the resting place for the ashes of the defenders of the Alamo. Now everyone look straight ahead. Can you guys see this beautiful cypress tree in front of us? This is the oldest and the tallest cypress tree on the Riverwalk. Over 100 feet tall, some say over 400 years old. It's called the Ben Milam tree, but some people call it the sniper tree. In 1835, Colonel Ben Milam escaped from captivity in Mexico City, and then he came here to San Antonio to join the Texas militia. Now he had to take a reduction in rank in order to sign up with the Texas Volunteers. So he was posted from colonel down to private. Now he might have lost his rank, but he did not lose his leadership ability. And he successfully rallied the Texans in a 6-day raid against the city, liberating it from the Mexican army and placing it safely in the hands of Texas. But during the battle, he was shot by a Mexican sniper perched in that tree. That's why they call it the Ben Milam tree or the sniper tree. On the left-hand side, you guys will see the Drury Inn, made in 1998. And way back in 1921, that was a city public service building where Texas would pay their water bills. On the right-hand side, you guys will see the Esquire Tavern, and that was made in 1933. That's the oldest bar on the Riverwalk. Now, it also has the longest wooden bar top in the state of Texas. Over 100 feet of clear-soaked wood. During the Prohibition era, when it was illegal to serve alcohol in the entire United States, legend says that bar never shut down and never stopped serving alcohol. Instead, it masqueraded as a barbershop. So people would go in there supposedly to get a haircut. And then they'd all come out a little bit tipsy. Or as one of the boatcasters said, they'd all go in supposedly to get a haircut, and they'd all come out buzzed. Alright everybody, we are coming up on the end of our tour again. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Well, I can honestly say I definitely enjoyed being your boat captain. You guys have been a very exciting boat crew. Not every day we get to do a boat transfer. That was lots of fun. If you guys look to the right-hand side, you'll notice more tourists in their natural habitat. Now, I do have to perform a difficult boat docking maneuver, everybody. I got to dock the boat on the left-hand side in shallow water. So you guys might hear a little grumbling noise. That's just the props dragging against the bottom of the river. Don't worry, I'll get the job done. Now let's see here. I do need you guys to help me out, so please remain seated while I'm docking the boat. I gotta get out of the boat and tie it down. So if you could please remain seated until after I get the boat tied down and then get back on to give you the thumbs up. I really appreciate that very much. If you got your pictures taken, there'll be somebody that's gonna appear here on the left-hand side, and they're gonna take care of your pictures. So please take a look at your pictures. They are very, very beautiful. You guys take a look around. Make sure you take everything you brought with you on the boat off the boat. If you should happen to forget to leave anything behind, all you got to do is go to our Lost and Found website at www.ebay.com and you can buy it all back. You guys give me about 2 minutes to get the boat tied down, all right?